Imagine waking up with hundreds of billions of dollars. What would you buy? A private island? A mega yacht? The biggest mansion on Earth? Elon Musk spends his money almost nothing like that. He sold his mansions. He doesn't own a yacht. Instead, he keeps pouring billions into rockets, artificial intelligence, electric cars, and satellites. So where does all that money actually go? And how much of it does he spend on himself? Let's find out. Here's the first thing that surprises people. Musk isn't sitting on a mountain of cash. According to Forbes, his fortune, now estimated north of $900 billion, is built almost entirely from stock. He owns close to 11% of Tesla and roughly 40% of SpaceX, numbers that swing by billions daily. Musk himself has said he's cash poor, and filings back that up. Less than a fraction of 1% of his net worth sits as actual cash. That explains almost everything else in this video. When most of your wealth is locked inside company stock, spending it isn't as simple as swiping a card. To get cash, Musk usually has to sell shares or borrow against them. So the real question isn't how he spends his fortune. It's how he keeps feeding it back into the machines that created it. Start with Tesla. Musk takes no salary there. Instead, in November 2025, shareholders approved a pay package worth up to $1 trillion over the next decade, according to CNBC and NPR, but only if Tesla hits extreme targets. 20 million vehicles delivered, 10 million full self-driving subscriptions, 1 million humanoid robots built, and a valuation reaching $8.5 trillion. He doesn't get paid for showing up. He gets paid, in theory, for building the most valuable company ever. Then there's SpaceX, and this is where things get interesting. It's now the single largest driver of Musk's wealth. In June 2026, SpaceX completed the biggest IPO in history, according to Reuters, pricing shares at $135 and raising roughly $75 billion, at a valuation near $1.77 trillion. That single event pushed Musk past $1 trillion, the first person in recorded history to hit that mark. Almost none of it sits idle. SpaceX plows revenue straight back into Starship development, Starlink satellites, and a launch pace no rival on Earth can match. Which brings us to the riskiest bet in his empire, artificial intelligence. xAI launched in 2023 aiming to understand the true nature of the universe.
Elon Musk is starting a new company to get into the field of artificial intelligence. Musk announced the launch of xAI today. He says the company's goal is to focus on truth-seeking and to understand the true nature of AI. Musk has said on several occasions that AI should be paused and that the sector needs regulation. Musk says his new company will work closely with Twitter and Tesla, which he also owns.
2 years later, according to Reuters and CNBC, it had raised $5 billion in debt and $5 billion in equity through Morgan Stanley. Then, another $10 billion at a $200 billion valuation months later. In February 2026, SpaceX absorbed xAI entirely, valuing the combined company at $1.25 trillion. Competing with OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic means buying enormous numbers of NVIDIA chips and building power-hungry data centers, and Musk has committed billions a year just to keep pace. Most people don't know this part. X, formerly Twitter, is now tangled into that same AI bet. Musk bought it for $44 billion in 2022, financing part of it with $13 billion in debt. Advertisers fled and its value cratered. Then, in March 2025, Musk merged X into xAI in a deal valuing X at $33 billion, or $45 billion including debt, almost exactly what he originally paid. He quietly rescued his most criticized purchase by folding it into his most promising one. Not every company is measured in the tens of billions. Neuralink closed a $650 million round in 2025 to help paralyzed patients control computers with their thoughts. The Boring Company is smaller still. Both follow the same pattern. Nearly every dollar gets reinvested into research and hardware, not savings.
Offer me money. Offer me power. I don't care.
So you just don't care. You want to share what you have to say.
I'll say what I want to say, and if the consequence of that is losing money, so be it.
So what does Musk spend on his own life? This is where his story stops looking like a typical billionaire's. In May 2020, he posted, "I am selling almost all physical possessions. Will own no house." Within months, he listed a bundle of Bel Air mansions for $62.5 million and sold the childhood home of actor Gene Wilder with a condition it could never be torn down. By late 2022, his last estate sold for around $32 million. Today, Musk reportedly rents a modest home near SpaceX's Starbase site in South Texas, worth around $50,000. But here's the twist. While Musk stopped buying mansions, he didn't stop buying land. A 2025 Houston Chronicle analysis found entities tied to his companies now control over 500 properties across roughly 6,000 acres of Texas, valued near $3.4 billion, including Tesla's Gigafactory, the Starbase launch site, and a company town called Snailbrook. He didn't abandon real estate. He just stopped buying it for himself. Security is growing fast, though. Tesla's SEC filings show it spent $2.8 million protecting Musk in 2024, jumping to $4.8 million in 2025. The New York Times reports he sometimes travels with 20 bodyguards. That sounds enormous, until you compare it to Mark Zuckerberg, whose security and travel costs at Meta have topped $24 million a year, roughly 5 times more. Then there's the tax question, and it tends to make people the angriest. A 2021 ProPublica investigation built on leaked IRS records found that between 2014 and 2018, Musk had what the outlet called a true tax rate of just 3.27%, measured against how much his wealth actually grew during those years. In 2018 specifically, he paid $0 in federal income tax. The reason isn't some secret loophole, it's structural. His wealth is unrealized stock gains, and under current law, those aren't taxed until shares are sold. When he needs cash, he often borrows against his stock instead, a strategy tax researchers have nicknamed buy, borrow, die. It's completely legal. It's also exactly how the ultra-wealthy in America grow astronomically richer while owing remarkably little. Does any of it go toward giving back? Some, though, less than you'd expect. The Musk Foundation held more than $14 billion in assets at the end of 2024, but in both 2021 and 2022, it gave away less than 5% of its total assets, the bare legal minimum required to keep its tax-exempt status. Put it all together, and a clear picture emerges. Musk doesn't spend like the billionaires before him. He isn't collecting real estate empires or super yachts. Almost every dollar he touches gets funneled back into rockets that haven't landed yet, AI models racing to catch rivals, satellites orbiting a planet that hasn't finished paying for the last batch. His net worth is less a bank account and more a scoreboard, tied to bets that could still fail. So if a man worth close to $1 trillion lives in a rented house, flies between 5 companies and pays a lower tax rate than most nurses and teachers, what does it actually mean to be the richest person alive? Maybe Elon Musk was never really spending his billions at all? He's been betting them.